This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. My brothers, draw near. The world outside sleeps, unaware of the history we forge in these shadows. The square and compasses rest on our sacred texts, symbols of the order and the great work before us. We are the architects of a new age, laying foundations of an empire built on a grand deception. Tonight, my brothers, we pledge ourselves to its completion for generations to come. Before we proceed, you must understand what we are truly up against. This land, called Turtle Island, is not a new world, but the ancient seat of the Moorish Empire. The people here are descendants of kings, the true house of Israel, builders of great cities and keepers of immense knowledge. But to control them, we must erase their history, burn their books, bury their tablets, and make them forget who they are. Only then will the children of the Moors be lost in the fog, never knowing they stand upon holy ground. Gentlemen, our plan is a masterpiece of insidious deception. We will take everything from the Moors, not with the sword, but with the pen. First, we shall take the fez from their heads and the sandals from their feet, symbols of their nobility and heritage. We will strip them of their identity until they are naked in the world, with no name, no nation, no past. But if the children of the Moors ever awaken and remember who they are, our days are done. The world sees our new hijacked constitution as a beacon of liberty. But it's true, purpose is control. The Judiciary Act of 1789 is our first move, creating courts loyal to our design, not the people. With a stroke of the pen, we conjure a phantom authority over every state and man. The people won't see the cage. Its bars are invisible, forged from legal jargon and tricks. This is the genesis of federal control, all under the guise of law and order. Let me explain the concept of jurisdiction, for it is the very essence of our power. Jurisdiction is, in truth, a declaration of ownership. He who decides the law owns the subject. Before our Judiciary Act, the Moors existed in their natural state, on their own land, under the jurisdiction of the Creator and their own ancient customs. They were sovereigns. Our Act introduces a new artificial jurisdiction, a federal jurisdiction. It is a net cast over the entire continent, and the Moors are the fish we intend to catch. They will be pulled from the sea of their own sovereignty into our federal boat. The Act allows for what is called removal jurisdiction, a marvel of legal cunning, honestly. If a Moor finds himself in a dispute with one of our newly minted citizens from another state, the case can be snatched from his local court and moved into our federal system. Do you see the genius? We remove him from his world, from a court of his peers, and place him in our world, where our judges and our rules hold sway. In this foreign environment, he is helpless. He is no longer a sovereign defending his rights, but a defendant subject to our authority. We have created a legal dimension, a fictional space. The moment a Moor steps into our federal courtroom, he has left his land and entered ours. The moment he answers to a federal summons, he acknowledges our power over him. This is how we begin to strip them of their nationality on paper. By subjecting them to our jurisdiction, we implicitly classify them as something less than sovereign. We are conditioning them, step by step, to accept our authority as supreme. It is a slow, methodical process of legal and psychological subjugation. This federal jurisdiction is the source of all our future power. It is the authority we will use to levy taxes, to seize land, to enforce our statutes. It is the invisible chain that will bind every person in this land to our new federal government. The Moors will not feel these chains at first. They will be light as air. But over generations, we will add more links. We will pull the chains tighter until they are completely entangled in our system. Their natural freedom, a distant, forgotten memory. Now, where does the money come from to build this grand federal machine? An empire of deception is not cheap. This is where our allies across the sea play their part. The Judiciary Act and the financial system it protects are two sides of the same coin. By establishing a strong, centralized federal judiciary, we send a message to the world bankers in London and beyond. America is a safe investment. Our courts will honor contracts. Our government will pay its debts. We are not a collection of rogue states. We are a corporation ready for business. The Compromise of 1790, which goes hand in hand with our legal restructuring, is the key. We assume the state's war debts, consolidating them into a single national debt. Then, we issue federal bonds. And who do you think is first in line to buy these bonds? Our friends, the international financiers, the Knights of the Templar in their modern guise, the Crown's bankers. They are not just lending us money, they are buying a piece of our new nation. They are investing in our success, and more importantly, in the subjugation of the Moors. Their investment gives them a vested interest in our federal system. Every time one of our federal courts enforces a contract or collects a debt, it reinforces the stability that protects their bonds. They are our silent partners in this venture. They fund the government, the courts, the entire apparatus of control, because they know the return on investment will be immense. The return will be the entire wealth of a continent, seized from its rightful owners and funneled into their coffers through our meticulously constructed legal and financial system. So, when our federal marshals enforce a court order against a Moor, they are not just acting on behalf of our government. They are acting as collection agents for the most powerful financial interests in the world. The Moors will be trapped between the legal anvil of our courts and the financial hammer of the international banks. They will be dispossessed of their land and their wealth, which will be transferred, on paper, to a global network of creditors who have never set foot on this soil. It is the ultimate Ponzi scheme, and the Judiciary Act provides the legal framework to make it all appear legitimate. The Judiciary Act demanded a central seat of power, hence the District of Columbia, a 10-mile square carved from Moorish land belonging to no state. This federal city became the operational heart of our new empire, a symbol and tool of national authority. By placing our capital here, we triggered land speculation, allowing insiders to buy up land from the Moors for pennies. The Residence Act was not just political, it was economic warfare, dispossessing the Moors and cementing federal control. From this new Rome, we rule. Federal courts justify, the city commands, and the Moors become provincials on their own land. The Judiciary Act began the transformation of Moors from sovereigns to legal fictions, strawmen. In federal court, the Moor is addressed as a paper entity, not a living sovereign. By answering to this fiction, he unknowingly submits to federal authority, trading rights for privileges. The act is a spell, turning free men into citizens, residents, taxpayers, each label a step away from sovereignty. The Moors are trapped by paperwork, not swords, as the legal system redefines their existence. The Judiciary Act is the cornerstone of this deception, shifting the world beneath their feet. The need for a permanent capital was manufactured to justify the Residence Act. The Potomac was chosen with intent. Moorish land seized for a new city, erasing their ancient capital in Philadelphia. The act was a calculated deception, masking conquest as compromise. Treaties and friendship were a smokescreen. Surveyors measured out dispossession. The North and South squabbled over location, but the Moors were never at the table. Washington, D.C. was not unity. It was the physical proof of our conspiracy built on stolen land. The capital's construction marked the grave of a nation. The Residence Act enabled the address system, post offices, roads, and numbers, all tools of control. An address is not just a location, it's an entry point into federal jurisdiction. Accepting mail using an address, the Moor becomes a resident, a subject, not a sovereign. The Postmaster General is the puppet master, the address, the chain. Each letter, each document tightens federal authority. Homes become outposts, people become subjects. The address system is the silent enforcer, binding Moors to the federal grid. Enslavement comes not by force, but by daily ritual. The Residence Act unleashed a land rush. Insiders bought Moorish land for nothing, knowing its value would soar. The Moors saw land as sacred. We saw it as profit. International bankers funded our government, profiting from the dispossession. Those who resisted were crushed by courts, taxes, and reclassification. The act legitimized theft, turning owners into squatters, and Moors were outcasts on their own land. This was the blueprint for continental theft, repeated for a century. With land and law secured, we moved to demographic conquest, the Naturalization Act of 1790. Only free white persons could be naturalized, inventing a new class and excluding the Moors. The act opened the gates to poor pale Europeans, offering them stolen land and new identities. The Moors, original to this land, became aliens, strangers in their own home. This was a settler colonial scheme, replacing the native population with loyal newcomers. The act turned European peasants into landowners, Moors into Negroes and blacks. We created a new people, loyal to us, to hold down the rightful owners. Every foreigner we naturalize becomes another brick in our fortress, another soldier in our silent army. We grant them land and citizenship, privileges denied to the Moors. The Naturalization Act transforms the status of everyone here. The Moor is rendered an outcast, the European a privileged citizen. We have created a caste system by law, placing our imported settlers at the top. Now, for wealthy Moors, we offer a gilded cage, citizenship. To keep your land, you must join us. Let go of your ancient title. Become a United States citizen. It's protection, but really, it's extortion. We create the threat, then sell the solution. The Moor steps down from sovereignty, becoming a ward of the state, trading birthright for paperwork and golden chains. Either way, the Moorish nation is dismantled, individual by individual. Our conquest is not just of land, but of the Moorish mind. Their knowledge, agriculture, astronomy, engineering surpasses ours. We must seize their inventions, claim their genius as our own. The Patent Act is our weapon. Legalized theft, stripping Moors of their creations. The true genius is left with nothing, while we become the gatekeepers of innovation. The Copyright Act, signed in 1790, lets us seize the past, controlling the narrative of this continent. He who controls the story controls the mind. Our agents will confiscate the Moors' books and rewrite their history, erasing their truth. The books we cannot twist, we will burn. The Copyright Act lets us bury their truth, locking it away for centuries. Now for this one, you must listen close. As I stated before, we must trick the Moors' children so that they will never know they are from this land. Our Patent Act and Copyright Act allows us to seize and confiscate their maps. This is the most important part of our sneaky plan. Misdirecting the Moors' children is key here, gentlemen. We shall make them think north is south and east is west. We shall make him think Israel is in another country, gaslighting them while they stand on holy ground. We shall hide their true nationality, which is Temerian Moors from the house of Israel, and that their land is comprised of Egypt, plus other ancient lands. This is why erasing the Moors' original maps are critical. We will use manipulation, misinformation, and strategic omission to maintain power, secure resources, or facilitate assimilation. Their land is the riches in all resource, but we shall tell them the wealth is in Africa when they're standing on the land of milk and honey. We shall use misdirection to obscure the true value of land or resources, persuading indigenous Moors to sign treaties or relinquish territory under false pretenses. Gentlemen, we aim to be misleading in all that we do to keep the children of the Moors asleep. We control the information, including the erasure of Moorish indigenous history in education or media, aiming to break Moorish cultural ties and assimilate individuals into the settler state under the guise of civilizing or helping. Observe the perfect machinery of our plan. The Patent Act steals their future, the Copyright Act their past. The Moors are trapped in a present we control, stripped of tools, history, and hope. To join the world of ideas, they must surrender identity and become citizens. Join us or be outcasts. This is the engine of perpetual servitude. We are not just stealing inventions, we are stealing their very soul. My brothers, the foundation of our empire is laid. The legal traps are set. Now, we unleash the grand Ponzi scheme of citizenship, a contract that promises security but delivers servitude. It is the act of a sovereign stepping off his own ground and onto our ship, no longer captain, but a mere passenger. This citizenship is the golden chain we use to bind them, making the chains beautiful, distracting them with trinkets and entertainments. They will be spiritually dead, yet smiling. The genius of this scheme is in the paperwork. Layers of legal documents so dense, no one can see the trap. A birth certificate, they think, is just a record. But in our system, it's a title of ownership. Property deeds, not true titles, just certificates of occupancy. The real title stays with us. They'll believe they own everything while polishing the bars of their own cage. Make no mistake, gentlemen, we are running a strange and delicate program for the blind and the bound. Our power rests entirely on their ignorance. The moment a Moor awakens, the moment one of our new sheep realizes that America is the true house of Israel and that he is an heir to this land, a dent is formed in our evil sadistic plan. Them unplugging from our system of chains and debt is a threat to our very existence. The great awakening of the Moorish children is our greatest fear, for it is the truth. Therefore, we must not lose a single sheep. And if a sheep just so happens to escape the fold? If a Moor breaks the code, deciphers the legalese, and begins to reclaim his sovereignty? Then we must act with swift and brutal prejudice. We shall make an example of him. We will slaughter him in front of the entire flock to send a message of terror and fear. We will use our courts to persecute him, our press to slander him, and if necessary, our enforcers to silence him permanently. The fear of what happens to those who wake up will be the most powerful anesthetic for keeping the rest of the herd asleep. This is why we must create a class of collaborators among them. We will elevate a few, make them clergy or community leaders, and pay them well to preach our gospel of submission. They will tell their brethren to be meek, to follow the law, to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. They will be our shepherds, guiding their own people deeper into our pasture of servitude. They will be celebrated as leaders, all while ensuring the flock remains passive, manageable, and profitable for us, the true owners. Our days are numbered only if they remember who they are as a whole. We must keep them plugged into our system at all costs. Every Moor who remains a citizen, Every child registered in our system, every tax paid without question, is another victory for our grand deception. We live like kings on their slumber. But if that slumber is disturbed, if the lost sheep of Israel find their way out of our labyrinth, our 200-year reign will end. My brothers, behold our work. The machine is built, the gears are turning, the great deception is in motion. The Moors, true children of God, are now asleep. We have rocked the gods into slumber and walk as kings in their stead. Their land, their history, their very identity, taken by quiet, creeping schemes. We have conquered the mind itself. Our reign is built upon their forgetting. The truth of their divine heritage is buried deep. The eternal cover-up is complete. Our empire is a fragile one, a kingdom built not on stone but on whispers. Every law, every monument is just plaster over cracks in our foundation. The truth slumbers in the blood of those we oppress, waiting to awaken. Each Moor who reclaims his identity is a spark, capable of igniting an inferno. We are wardens of a prison of the mind, forever guarding the lie. One day, their truth will thunder and our kingdom of whispers will fall. Brothers, we have built an empire on cunning and deception, atop a pyramid of forgotten kings. But beware, if the truth awakens, our power will crumble overnight. Their awakening alone will undo us. The clock is ticking toward a terrible dawn, our dominion or our end.